Hi, I'm Sarah Scialli, and I'm going to talk about three universes that I know very well: games, film, and theater. I hope you'll find some of the tidbits I've absorbed from them inspiring to your own work. I find myself firmly standing in the center of these three, often having to recalibrate my thinking when I move from one to another. Indie games are super special to me. I love being a part of a community that constantly questions its medium and strives to innovate technically and emotionally. Within this sphere, I served as a producer of Outer Wilds and am now making a VR adventure game with my fledgling studio Tinted Stardust. I also live squarely in the film industry. I work at DreamWorks Animation on the Advanced Creative Technology team, where I'm a motion capture engineer and focus on virtual production. I worked on movies like How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, Trolls, and Kung Fu Panda 3, and also make transmedia experiences like our Fly with Toothless project with the indoor skydiving company iFly. But my first love is musical theater. I often feel most at home performing in regional and community theater productions or studying ballet or tap dance. In a show, characters sing when they can't possibly speak anymore. The same is true for me. For as disparate as games, film, and theater are, I often find these three areas of my life overlapping in ways I didn't expect. Even if only subconsciously, I find myself applying paradigms from one into another. I find myself thinking about film worlds in terms of mechanics and systems. I find it helps to make sense of the internal logic of a given film world. I then can extrapolate those mechanics to better understand the character's perspective and worldview as if I were playing a game as that character or playing the character on stage. I also think about film pipelines similarly, trying to figure out what actions would allow a filmmaker to be more creative and playful with their movie making and translating that into tools or software integrations. And this subject of mechanics and systems comes up when I think about game development itself, yes, to define technical workflows, but also for team processes. I approach designing the system of making the game similarly to how I approach designing the game itself. From the theater world, a practical concept that I take to heart is cheating out, the Theater 101 idea of never turning your back on the audience, unless you are doing so in a motivated way. A practical way I've utilized this advice is when demoing a game at an event. I mean this literally, though of course metaphorically is relevant too. I'm subconsciously aware of the way I'm facing relative to the display of the game I'm showing from the perspective of someone coming up to my booth. The goal is to direct the player clearly from myself to the game, because of course the experience surrounding playing the game matters just as much as the experience within the game. I performed at a Renaissance festival in high school, and they taught this concept as donutting, when multiple performers inadvertently stand in a circle and guests don't feel included or part of the bit. Instead, we are taught to place ourselves physically into a semicircle. When there are multiple developers standing near a game demo, this can be a good concept to remember. It's even relevant to parties. In dance, we are often taught a new combination with care. The choreographer spends a significant effort defining the specific moves and style of that combination. And then we are told to reverse the combination, perform the mirror image, where turns that went to one side now go to the other, and immediately perform it, often with no rehearsal whatsoever. There's something that frees up my thinking when I encounter this. It reminds me of the piece of drawing advice from the book Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain that asks new artists to draw their subjects upside down, disconnecting from the literal concept of the subject. Perhaps this is a concept that can be internalized when trying to squash a particularly difficult bug. Perhaps something as simple as thinking about your problem backwards can dislodge the clog in your thinking. There are so many other paradigms that can be applied across these three that I wish I could talk about further, like how design pillars could be more widely used in the film world, or how concepts from film editing, like how the eye is drawn to movement, size, and color, can translate to game design, or the idea of the group mind from improvisation. For now, I'll just leave you with this. Maybe inspiration has been here the whole time, just lying in wait in other avenues of our lives. And I'd like to hear about those in yours. Thank you.